On one of my videos before last, I gave an opinion about friend slop games, and it was not in disagreement with the post that was being used as the original source, but in agreement with it while also defining the differences on what I think, considering that I'm a broadcaster. And somebody left that comment. And on top of it being just completely wrong when it comes to describing what they think I think about Helldivers, which I never said in the content that Helldivers is friend slop, because it isn't, they are misconstruing something and not actually hearing or addressing the thing that I said or explained, so this video is going to be clarifying that. Much how there is a group of people that like to particularly play a certain kind of game and specialize in playing that type of game, there is a secondary group that plays those games. And it is the same definitive group that exists between a normal everyday multiplayer game and friend slop. And that secondary group in the middle that stands between the two that defines whether or not it is a true friend slop game or is just another bit of early adopter streamer gamer rush is what we call the Nuisance streamer. So effectively, what that person tried to take away from that explanation I tried to give about the differences between normal interactions in a video game, even those that are considered friend slop, versus the type of video game that can be described as streamer rage slop, they took from my repo example as it just being, bro, you got trolled. Who cares? It's just a game. And that brings me to the example I'm going to pull from with Arc Raiders, as I've been researching it as a topic, with the potential of it potentially being a video for my channel. Direct your eyes and attention towards the screen, please.
You have nothing to live for, you dumb. I'm gonna cut your umbilical cord late and you with it, you stupid yourself. You have no family, no life. Yeah, punch me. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna run this way, motherfucker. I'm free loadout, and guess what? I'm still gonna do that. Yeah,
You see, just like with IRL nuisance streamers being a problem with people in public, nuisance streamers and nuisance followers of those streamers are a problem when it comes to online video games. Because what happens is that individual, that person, and that group, if you create a dynamic where they can forget themselves, and they can act like that, that's the kind of person and the kind of behavior that's supposed to be an automatic IP hardware ban. Because it makes the game not fun, you see. And usually the people who choose to do that are doing it to be clipped, and are doing it for clout, which then leads to a negative feedback loop where other people do that behavior too. So much so that the streamer in question that created that clanner environment, the Bungalators, has to tell them, hey guys, stop before you kill the community, which is to say the player base.
Fabric of the Arc Raiders community apart if I don't make this speech real quick. Gentlemen, it was an honor to fight by your side on this fine day. But I have seen so many warmongering parties of bungulators over the previous few moons. I think we may be ruining the game for others that do not join up. So from here on out, let us make peace. Let us make peace with Speranza. Let's not gang up too much anymore. Of course. Let us make peace. Let us make peace. I don't want 12, 15 bungulators evaporating every lobby. That wouldn't be good for the community in the long term, I don't think.
Because you see, when it comes to a game like Helldivers, this kind of thing would never happen because it's a PvE game. When a person tries to be a chaos diver and antagonize and murder people in their lobby, that's what the lobby host gets to do. They get to kick them out of the lobby. If it's enough of an antagonization and a problem that it's happening live on air and they have recorded evidence of the kind of behavior those players just put out there, those players can actually be banned from Steam. Not even joking. You go to the people in the official Discord, if it has one, you contact a user, you contact a member of the moderator staff, you get your hands on an employee, you hand them the evidence of the clip, you get them the account names of the people who are involved, and you make sure to report the behavior on Steam. They get permanently banned. ruining their entire career and their ability to access video games because they wanted to act like fucking dumbasses. That's nuisance streaming. And that's the thing that people like doing now. It is what has made the culture of Twitch into a toxic mess. Because people are always trying to do it for the Vine. Which in this case would be doing it for the TikTok. Which in this case would be doing it for the clips. Because that's what people think the streaming community and the streaming mindset revolves around. It revolves around endless clips of content creators doing and behaving badly and or encouraging bad behavior from other people. Which is wild because if you've paid attention to the conversation happening in art creators, what they're experiencing is an emergent and divergent play style that is appearing because people are tired of being fucking camped by these types of clanner behaviors. Because this is clanner behavior. There is no clan system in art creators. So, from Myth to Nick Merckx to The Peanut and others like them, including Ginge that he streams with and others like them, versus people who like doing PvE content. I'm gonna tag one of them because I've seen some of y'all in his bumper something furious. The Mindful Gamer. You will go out of your way, those of you behaving like this, you will go out of your way and you'll say, no, you guys are just whining because you can't be able to outgun and outshoot. And I don't think y'all understand what kind of gamer the Mindful Gamer and people like him are. I'll break it down to you like this. What you're experiencing is the same thing that happens in the deep wilderness of old school RuneScape. There are 3 kinds of players, technically 4 if you count the rats. There are the PVMers. They're the people who are just there to make profit. They ain't trying to hurt nobody, but they're trying to go home with some cash. Then you have the hunter killers, the normal PvP players. And then you have the assassins, which would be the hunter killers that are hunting the other PvP players. The game loop looks like this. You put out loot in a situation. In the case of arc raiders, that's the loot in the overworld, from the arcs as well as from looting. A normal player collects that loot. They break a loot pinata, they put the loot in their bag, they become a loot pinata. Then, that player gets hunted by a PvP player. That player sees your loot. Hey, yo, what's in that bag? And wants what you have. Normal gameplay loop in any kind of full loot PvP environment. Then, you have the third party, the fourth party, the fifth party, the sixth party. They come along and say, why would I do all that extra work to go hunt the loot pinata when I can hunt you? When you have no shields. After you took that fight. And then every single party after that is just that multiplied over. So, Matriarch, Emperor, Field of Leapers, whatever kind of NPC that you're fighting, they see you fighting them, they're waiting off in the wings, and so is everybody else waiting to backshot you. And then you have the rats, who are raiding around the corner waiting for easy drops and easy kills. As I've seen it, from the footage and data that I've been able to collect from watching people discuss like this, what I'm seeing is that there are a bunch of rats that, much like when we would bully the crap out of them in Elden Ring, they've decided that they can't hang it in another PvP environment like that. So, they wanted to go find an easier target, which would be the PVM target, the loot pinata. And the problem is, they have been so consistent with jumping onto the bandwagon of any particular person who is trying to basically protect their opinion to say, well, it's not me with the problem, it's the people crying about the gameplay. This is how it's meant to be played. That they have created the first emergence of what happens in that environment. Now, what happens in that environment is that the PVMer becomes what we call an anti-player killer, an anti-PKer. They are looting, they might even be pretending to loot, but they are specifically there to bait you to fight them so they can take what you have, because you take first initiative shots on them, they react defensively, and with their defensive playstyle, they murk you! And all of a sudden, oh, it's cheating when you use shotguns, that's so overpowered, bro. And the fact of the matter is that for all the people who are doing all that jibber jabber, it wasn't overpowered till it killed you, huh? Then, those players, the PVMers, that are being antagonized in situations where you basically have an all-out war being started by streamers who have started clan behavior, you have these broadcasters creating entire events that is tearing apart the fabric of the player base. Because you see, I've seen plenty of comments. In fact, roll the clip.
It's kind of insane to think, but I actually feel like, do you guys remember how when Fortnite first came out, how no one was utilizing just building in general? You know what I mean? And building became like a curve. Like, I guess what I would say in this month, I'm not saying it went from base building to like turbo building, like what we see today, but you can see people already getting way better at this game. Does that make sense?
Effectively, what you're currently experiencing and what you're going through is the continuance and the evolution of what will eventually begin a new Mordhau loop that will then affect this game and kill it. And by a Mordhau loop, I mean this image that's about to be on screen. Much like how any person who is worth their salt and knows anything about a fighting game knows that as a game gets older, it eventually gets phased out and dies. But there's always a hardcore group of people who are willing to play it. Shout out to those of you who know Rumble Fighters. Shout out to those of you who know Guns the Duel. Shout outs to those of you who know Mordhau or For Honor, which For Honor's still got a player base. But any game that was supposed to be multiplayer and hardcore and immersive eventually goes the way of the dodo, because those players that could be the new blood effectively get antagonized, mocked, and bullied out of it because all of the people playing it are extremely aggressive, extremely toxic, and extremely aggressive towards the new blood coming in. But Carl, all he said was that he didn't agree with your opinion. Why are you giving me a video of all those points? Great question that you asked that. For every single person that can sit there and say, bro, it's just a game. It's not. It's a community. You aren't a community yet. You all keep using that word incorrectly. And you're not. You're not a community. You're a player base. You play the same game. And I think all of you have always been familiar with the statement of, I love my game, but I hate the people who play it. It's why MOBAs have become a toxic shitfest. It's why League of Legends is the premier toxic game. It is why any kind of game in any kind of environment is filled with people who will say, I play the game my way, when they don't realize that actually, you, my friend, are Lex Luthor and All-Star Superman. There is no I. We are all in this together as the collective consciousness of the game's direction and directive. It's only us, all together, in that thing, collectively. To put it like this, for a game that I play actively, but we are going to be transitioning from into a new one, which is to say setting up for the next Path of Exile 2 League. In Once Human, it is exactly like that. Most of you like thinking that because you're playing a game that's lobby-based. It searches for a lobby, it plays through a playlist, something like Call of Duty and Modern Warfare, right? But when you're playing in games like these, even though you're playing in a load-up lobby that you treat like it's a battle royale, you have to understand that you're seeing the same people, and you're going to see the same people, and possibly get the same people a lot. So, much like in Once Human, where Story Labs designed a game that was intended for social interaction, even in PvP servers, where they have PvP and PvM, and occasional PvP activities in the PvM server, you are still going to be in a server environment where for 45 to 65 days on a normal loop, and for 1 to 3 months on a Lunar Revelry server, you are going to be seeing the same people all the time. And the thing that a lot of people are not getting is that comes with reputation and reputational damage. So, the fact that people started recognizing Nick Merckx and knew that he was farming them for clout, and that then got him shot by members of the Union, the same way that people started recognizing the behavior of the Myth Raiders and the Bungalators, and started saying, hey, yo, no, don't let them stigmatize skins, bro. Put that shit on and start saving people in the Speranza. Coming around corners with all their loots, downing people, but then saying, hey, yo, this is reverse money. I got a bunch of shit in my locker that I can't carry. I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to raise you, I'm going to give you batteries and heals, and you're going to go the other way, you're going to turn away from me, and you're going to leave. Like the Peace Wraiths of old, and Dark Souls, and Elden Ring. You have emergent, diverging playstyles that are appearing as a part of your game and its culture. But you're not truly a community yet, because many people have yet to actually be able to verbalize, realize, recognize, and see where exactly your player base is and are at. Clearly, the problem here, if you had to put a finger on it, is you have rats. You have a rat problem. Those rats are going to use whatever campaign gives them the free license to continue acting like they're not the people who are causing the problem. And then everywhere else, where it's not a skill problem, it's just a community problem. where people, they don't want to get to know people. They don't want to think any more than that. No, it is not a game. It is actually the way that you behave that demonstrates a lot of things that you do in life. You're not capable of connecting to people. You don't want to get to know them. Okay, but you're going to have a very hard time because if you're playing in solo squads, they're going to hunt you. You might have to take that into duos. And if you're fighting in duos, you might have to deal with some sweats. You go to trios, you're definitely going to deal with sweats and streamers. Is that a thing that you're prepared to do? Some people, they might not. And so they'll leave and they'll go play a different game. Because on one side, they're always going to get backshot by a rat. Pause. On the other side, they end up getting in a bad situation. Now they're on a person's stream in the middle of the broadcast. Now they've got people, if they're a streamer, showing up in their chat, harassing them and antagonizing them like it's only Fangs 2. Again. Or, if they're not a streamer, they get put on a streamer's stream and their entire session for their night. They get off of work, they go home, they clock in, all the things that was in Ninja's argument. They clock in, they go home, they clock out, they go into work, they get off of work, they try to play the game, they can't play the game because it's bungalators everywhere. They're going to get sick of it, and they're going to go do something else. And people who want to have the thought-terminating cliche of you shouldn't care, and if you're complaining, you're a part of the problem, are not truly understanding the greatest problem, which is that people don't want to get to know each other, and they don't want to see eye to eye. Because clout benefits them if they just say they're complaining and whining. And when you do that, there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to hit you with an okay period, and then they're going to turn into monsters and mercenaries. And when you come across them and they put that shotty in your chest, you're going to hear them start acting the same as you. And you're going to be like, hey, yo, buddy, why you doing all that? And they're going to say, what the fuck are you talking about? This is what you wanted, right? You wanted a PvP game. You better knuckle up and knuck if you butt, bitch. And that's what's going to happen to your game. Sad to say. Sad to say. Because they've already said they don't have a problem with full loot PvP. They don't have a problem with getting down and fighting and killing other people. But the statistics don't lie. Even the Arc Raiders page has the statistics on how many people have been getting downed by players. There's less than 50% of players. The stat is on their page. It's 45%. Less than 45% of players have killed over 10 players. And more than likely, assuming that they're killing out of self-defense, especially in solos, the players don't actually want to try and kill people like that, since they're not trying to lose their loot. Especially if they're not being aggressed. They'll defend themselves, but they're not going to go out and massacre people. And then, of course, there's content creators that are being like, I'm going to get the trust of this player, and then I'm going to backstab him. Ah! And then they sit there on the screen, and it's like, it doesn't matter, bro. It's a video game. All you got to do, remember, it's just like dealing with nihilists. All you have to do is shoot them in the head. All you have to do is shoot them in the head in-game. Shoot them in the head in-game and take their stuff. Put their philosophy back on them. You're going to see it switch up real quick. Real quick. Now, for Arc Raiders, what happens for y'all and y'all player base from here, I couldn't tell you. All I can tell you is that if you're having fun playing the game, be blessed, beloved. And don't do all this extra shit. You do the gameplay, get your loot, get in, get out. You make friends, good, cool. You make enemies and rivals, good, cool. If you eventually see me in this game, because I ain't got money to afford it right now, but if you ever see me in this game, say hello to the afro and keep pushing. You turn that gun on me, you better down me, because I will remember your name and I will hunt you, and I will clip you, and I will farm you. If you get mad about it, and if you have anything to say about the opinions that I've said here, please make sure to call into my live show on Sunday and tell me all about it. 15 minutes of fame, and if it's good enough, we might talk for an extra hour. On the subject matter of friend slop, as well as Nuisance games and Nuisance streamer and rage slop games, you play what you want to play. Ain't nobody finna stop you. Ain't nobody finna stop you. But you gotta understand the perception of what has become of broadcasting as a hobby, as a career field, and as a thing to bring people together. There is more dividing us than putting us together, because people are not willing to see eye to eye at the end of the day. And that's really what's stopping people from getting into a game like Arc Raiders. And then, on the overall topic itself, for your moment of zen, I'm going to leave you with the opinion of the mindful gamer. And then, one of the comments left by a user that was talking to him. For whatever happens next, y'all gotta decide what y'all finna do. Y'all gotta learn how to listen, because I don't know how the hell a person mistakes something on screen that's got words and text and audio. I guess you can't understand the English language. And I'm gonna see y'all when I see y'all. Alright, peace, deuces.
It's just a game. Yeah, and books are just words, music is just sound, songs are just words with sounds. Do you see how reductive you sound yet? Video games are tools. Games are used to treat phobias, PTSD, and there's even a game you can be prescribed to treat ADHD. Airline pilots get most of their hours from flight simulators, which are also video games. Video games are so much more than the it's just a game crowd has the mental capacity to comprehend. What you actually mean when you say it's just a game is, I am intellectually lazy, and I'm the reason movies have to spell everything out for the lowest common denominator. It's absurd to think that just because you're playing a video game, you suddenly pull from a completely different framework when making decisions. You don't become a different person when you log in. The choices you make in games reflect the choices you make everywhere else. You're just comfortable being worse because you think it doesn't count. It's just a game is the battle cry of people who have never once asked themselves why they do anything in the first place. That's what separates consumers from people who actually think critically about what they're engaging with. Video games are whatever you're able to conceptualize them as, and I'm sure along with it's just a game, you also think it's not that deep. People have drowned in bathtubs before. Depth is relative to the person experiencing it. So to you, it's just a game, but to me, it's a space where I get to observe how people make decisions under pressure and how they treat others when consequences feel distant and what they prioritize when they're given freedom. And what I've observed is that most of you make the same shallow choices every single time.